What's up, everyone? Sara Poraria joined with Michael Singh, and you guys know what that means. TFC chats. TFC feeling very good after their win last weekend. Remember, guys, 2-0 to Inter Miami at home. What a boost they needed. Talk about a shift in morale, no?
Exactly. It's just how quickly, like we said, then a narrative could change. And you talk to some of the guys, and it seems like the vibes around the club are just so much better that they got those 3 points that just eluded them at the start of the season. It seems like the guys feel like they're really starting to come together both on and off the field, and that they're really starting to click, and they're just scratching the surface of what they could be. I mean, we'll see kind of how the rest of the season plays out, but as you mentioned, getting those 3 points against Miami last weekend was an absolute huge morale lift. And here's TFC captain Michael Bradley talking about how important a victory it was.
In saying all of that, how important was it though to get that 3 points on Saturday?
Very, I mean, look, for any group, for any team in its early in its early stages, you can feel good. Everyone can feel good on the inside about the work that's going on every day, about the way we're coming together as a group on the field, off the field, the potential, everything. But like you need tangible results to then give you that next bit of confidence and reinforcement of everything you're doing.
That's it. It's the 3 points that you need, right? To, like Michael Bradley said, just reinforce what you're doing.
Well, I think as well, they went 3 games without a win. Their fourth, they got it against a massive team in the Eastern Conference at home. But I think that could have been a really scary line that they didn't cross. But if they had lost it, it makes you wonder how long would they have gone then without a win? Because I think the more they would have kept losing or drawing games, the more it would have continued. It was like they really had to stop it dead in the tracks.
Yeah, and that's something the players and even Bob Bradley talked about, how much the players in that dressing room need to feel a victory at that point. And when you look back at their season, I know I say this all the time, but that DC United game, had they just held on to that game, you're now talking about a TFC team that has won 2 games and drawn 2 to start the season, right? That's such a big shift. So the fact that they weren't able to hold on put this team back so much further than I think they would be right now at this point. So that was just such a big loss in sort of the small scheme of things. So this season is just 4 games.
Right? No, for sure. It's kind of that shoulda, woulda, coulda, though, right? Yeah. But I guess it's more learning from the mistakes, and hopefully this is now where we will see
they held on to a lead. They held on to a lead. But just like building off that too, you mentioned how long it could be for them to go on and get a win. Well, this upcoming week against San Jose, they're missing a lot of players, right?
I am not feeling good about this game. We spoke about this, but yeah, TFC could be missing up to 9 players. We know it's international break. Here you go. So several of them are on international duty. Richie, Ozo, Mark Anthony K, Akinola, Romero. It's a lot of players. And then you already have, superstar Insigne out with an injury. Shane O'Neill, maybe. Diamande, maybe. Gutierrez, I don't know what's going on there, but if you compare it to San Jose, just by the table here, it's also more players, right? Like just number wise, it's daunting to me when I see this, and I'm sure Bob Bradley is, in the locker room trying to figure out and do all the logistics, because he's like, I don't even have enough to field a bench right now.
Well, I mean, like the biggest question with TFC heading into the start of the season was their lack of depth, right? And now it's really going to be tested to a completely different extent that, I mean, I guess you could see it coming, but it really is going to hit them square in the face when they try and field a team on Saturday. But when you look at San Jose and we looked at just the amount of players that they're missing, they're also missing a ton of players and key important pieces too. They're only going to have one DP, which is Christian Espinoza, on the field, as TFC will only have Federico Bernardeschi on the field. So you'd like to think in some ways it'll be an even matchup in that regard, but the way that TFC is built, they're missing 4, 5, potentially 5 starters. That's a tough task to overcome, so it will be a challenge. But I will say again that this is a league-wide problem. There are lots of teams in the league that are missing 9 players, 8 players like TFC are.
I think it's just the fact that they're missing several players on international duty, but on top of that, the injuries were already growing there. So it'll be really interesting to see what Bob Bradley does. But Mike, if you were Bob Bradley,
Let's do it.
who would you have for your starting 11 against San Jose?
Yeah, so the back line doesn't change too much. Assuming Bob Bradley is going to still try and play a 4-3-3, you have Sean Johnson in goal, and then you have Raul Petretta, Sigurd Rosted, Matt Hedges, and Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy. So I have Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy coming in there for his first appearance of the season. You can make the argument that either Kobe Franklin or Kosi Thompson could play right back there. However, I think Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy, he's a little bit ahead of those guys. And I think, they have some pressure almost to play Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy because of his pedigree and how important and how built up of a prospect he is. Obviously, there's still interest from Liverpool. There's still interest from Club Brugge. There's still interest from big clubs overseas for Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy. So you need to find a way to get this guy minutes, and that's just a easy way to do it when Richie Laryea is missing. Now, when we take a look at the midfield, obviously Brandon Cervania and Michael Bradley, they're going to be starting in central midfield. There's no doubt there. Beside them, I have Kosi Thompson. And you can make the argument between Thompson or Victor Vasquez, who I have starting at left wing. I could hear the argument for flip-flopping these guys. But I think these two guys you get on the pitch together, and then up top, Bernadeschi and DeAndre Kerr, which is not much of a change. So, it's... The quality is obviously dropped off a little bit, but you insert a guy like Victor Vasquez, who we know has just an insane amount of skill. Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy,
big shoes to fill, though, for somebody who's playing Richie's position.
And that's probably the biggest question mark. I think, right? How is he going to handle some of the guys that San Jose decides to throw at him? I don't know if Cade Cowell will play any time on the left side, but he's a dangerous guy with his pace and his directness, and he'll be a tough task if they do decide to isolate him against Jaquil Marshall-Ruddy.
Do you have Vasquez playing that whole game?
No, I don't think he can at this point in his career, right?
So then who would you bring in?
That's a good question. I mean, their bench is fairly thin, right?
Yeah, I mean...
I'm just looking at it here. You have a lot of defenders. Obviously, a guy like Lucas McNaughton. We'll see what Shane O'Neill's status is. Maybe a Hugo Mbonge.
I wonder if they'll also switch formation as well.
That's
like
also
going to a
very
4-4-2.
possible. I could even see them going 3 at the back because they have defenders. That seems to be like their position where there's a surplus.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe 3 at the back, go 2 wing backs, 2 midfielders or 3 midfielders, and then Bernadeschi and Kerr up top. There's a lot of different ways that you can work about this, but Bob Bradley's job this weekend is not easy. We'll see.
It's not going to be easy at all. So TFC take on San Jose in San Jose, March 25th. That's Saturday at 10:30 p.m. But before we go, Mikey, you had a chat with captain of TFC, Michael Bradley, and that's coming out on Friday in your notebook?
On Friday, yeah, exactly. So I had a really interesting chat with him. We spoke one-on-one for 30 minutes. We covered a wide variety of topics, including where TFC are at this current point, how the club's feeling inside, how the vibes are in the locker room. So we touched on all those sort of topics that I'm going to probably put out this week, and then a couple more that I'll save for some notebooks in the future that I'm sure TFC fans will definitely want to keep their eye on.
Yeah, I bet. All right. Well, that's all coming out on Friday. So keep your eyes peeled for Michael Singh's one-on-one chat with captain of TFC, Michael Bradley.